Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
And welcome to the evening news on Adoatv, coming to you live from our studios on the John Evans Atta Mills High Street in Accra. We are also streaming live on Facebook at Adoatv Ghana. The evening news is brought to you by Asatec Roofing Sheet and Cookware, Blue City Ties and Accessories, and Verna Mineral Water. My name is Benedicta Dodu. Now I look at our top stories for tonight's bulletin. The minority in Parliament have served notice that in coming days, businesses and decisions in the House will be taken by consensus and that the days of mobocracy is over. And still in Parliament, Member of Parliament for Boku Central, Honorable Mahama Ayariga, has said that the first Deputy Speaker did not give a ruling on the minority's motion. And Minister for Railway Development, John Peter Amewu, has stated clearly that government has signed no contract with regards to the construction of sky trains in Ghana. Of these stories and more in this bulletin. Now moving on to our first story, the Railways Development Minister Peter John Amewu has stated that government has not signed any contract with the concessionaire to construct a sky train. According to him, what has been signed is rather a memorandum of understanding. Mr. Peter Amewu further stressed the inability of government to construct a sky train in the next 3 to 4 years. He explained that the current information on Ghana's debt shows that it cannot incur a cost of about $12 billion to see the construction of the project.
Yes, I was on record to have stated categorically that it's not possible within the 3 years to complete the SkyTrain. Yes, and I'm repeating that. It's not possible. The cost of the SkyTrain, if had to be done today, is about $12 billion. I'm told that the cost per kilometer is in the range of $11 to $12 million. And constructing a SkyTrain is not like you're building a road. And so if you consider the period for 3 years, it's not possible. Sometimes we need to be very honest and very objective. And that is why I said for the period 3 years, it's not possible. I'm not on record to have said that SkyTrain, it's not possible in Ghana. It can be done in Ghana. But within that 3 years period that I've been asked for, I'm saying it and I'm still insisting that it cannot be done within the period of 3 years. Concessionaires programs or contracts, as you rightly said, had not been signed. What had been done within the framework is to sign an MOU. An MOU, of course, is not contracts, and largely it's not even binding. And so though an MOU is in place, what is allowed the ministry to do is to begin to put in measures to see how the project will be executed. That project, it's supposed to be funded again by government of Ghana based on the government balance sheet. What it means is that there's an opportunity for some loan to be brought in, and government balance sheet will receive that loan. And of course, today we are all aware the current problems in which the COVID had put all countries all over the world. So government's ability to absorb debt in funding a project of $12 billion, it's not possible within the next 3 years.
An interview with Nanaya Adoa of the Adoa News Desk, Dr. Simon Eji noted that vaccination is an effective way of preventing severe forms of the COVID-19 virus. This follows an announcement by the Director General for the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaji, confirming the emergence of the new COVID-19 variant on 1st December 2021.
So the basic thing is that we know there will be quite a number of variants. Like we realized earlier on that Delta came in, consumed a lot of lives. Okay. Now we also realized another strain of the virus had set in, and it's virtually. I mean, there are a lot of hospitalization. This morning I was looking at the number of people who have been admitted in South Africa in one facility, and it's quite amazing. Like you look at a chunk number of people have been admitted just because of one variant. Okay. So now WHO doesn't know even how much or how bad the transmission is, okay, whether compared to Delta, because we don't have a lot of information now. So if you have to even address an issue concerning Omicron, we don't have a lot of data on that. That's how come a lot of people are pushing for the fact that if you address or if you isolate anybody with COVID-19, you need to let the public or the people know about the genes, I mean the component of this virus, so that it's easy for follow-up and for recommendations and comparison, and even to know whether the vaccine in the existence is really going to work for it or not. With regards to the Omicron virus, I mean, a lot of people in South Africa have been affected now, but then we don't have enough data to even see that it is quite dangerous than the Delta we had, or it is quite bad and it can cause you to lose your life as compared to Delta. I mean, it takes time, and I'm sure within the next few days or weeks to come, we'll get to know a lot concerning the virus. What I know is that even if you've had a COVID infection before, which also gives you some form of immunity at the end of the day, if you are still prone to even acquire new variants or new variants of the virus, like the Omicron. So with respect to whether you vaccinate, it's good. The vaccination, it's a stop, or it's a way of preventing you from getting severe forms of the virus. So if you get the infection, instead of you getting a bad reaction to the virus, your body has already been introduced to some form of immunity already. So it's likely that you won't develop the severe form of the disease. But then, as to say whether you are completely immune to the new variant which is in existence, I think WHO is really working with some researchers to really come up with other ideas to know whether the old vaccines will really be effective against the new variant that we have in existence. I don't think we have enough data to say that Ghanaians are completely immune once you've been vaccinated. Then it means that we are giving them the assurance that they can even stop using face masks, they can continue doing the things they do, and I think that wouldn't really help us. Just like we know, COVID will still be with us for a very long time until probably we are all completely immune to the virus. But then until then, we need to observe the precautions, okay? And even the nation Ghana should also know that we still have to observe the precautions we started with from the beginning at the airports and I mean at our borders and all that. Make sure that you wash your hands regularly. Make sure that you avoid public places where you have a lot of people. If you are in a room, try and open your levers or whatever you have, so that you get enough aeration into the room. Trying to observe all those precautions will help us to prevent us from contracting this virus. But then if you say you are immune and that you've been vaccinated and you don't want to take any precautions, it may surprise you, because I mean they adapt new ways to really infect our system. So the only way to deal with it is to prevent you from getting the virus. Okay?
While motorists and residents living in and around Pokwasi Ablekuma in Accra are living in fear as a street light pole has been bent with its edges in the middle of the road, leading to accidents and posing a death trap. Residents who spoke to Ms. Na Ankra off camera said all attempts to get the attention of authorities to correct the defect has fallen on deaf ears. Ms. Na Ankra has more.
One major factor contributing to road accidents in recent times is the absence of street and traffic lights on highways, throwing many streets into complete darkness, which in turn leads to the collision of vehicles. Just this year alone, road carnages have increased more than the number of people who have lost their lives to COVID-19. Pokwasi Ablekuma is a suburb of Accra, Many residents are living in fear over a broken traffic light and a pole. This traffic light serves commuters and motorists on the Bokwasi-Ablekuma-Agape High Street. A high street with the absence of a street light and a traffic light may only be like blind individuals walking in the full glare of the sun. One may meet their untimely death by plying this road. Not only is it a threat to motorists, but also to commuters, as the pole lies on the pedestrian walkway, forcing pedestrians to walk on the main road when they get to that part of the stretch. No amount of words was able to convince residents of this community and adjoining ones to speak to the news team. According to them, this isn't the first time and the last time they will be engaging the media. However, it seems as though authorities in charge have given a blind eye to their concern. More dangerous is that this stretch of the road is in total darkness at night. For Peace Esiedu, a 56-year-old resident who agreed to speak to me off camera, what makes the situation more appalling is that it's been almost a year now, and even with the many accidents occurring, nothing triggers authorities to correct the defect. She speaks with tears on her cheeks. We feel neglected, and it's simple because no high personality has been affected by it yet, she said in a can. For Elizabeth Saki, she's only hoping against hope that attention will be given to them.
Today at the Meet the Press series, the Minister for Railway Development, John Peter Amewu, has updated the public on steps taken by government to revitalize the railway system. The sector minister indicating how these steps will aid the socio-economic development of the country explained that a policy decision taken by government will see limited rehabilitation of some sections of the country's network. This, he stated, is to keep the system running.
Some traders at the railway station expressed their concerns about the use of the train and the state of the railway station as they spoke to Adoa News. According to Yababy, boarding a train was less expensive and time efficient as compared to other commercial transport. Hence, she is urging government to walk the talk and fulfill its promise of rehabilitating the Accra and Sawam Railway.
Time na mete in Sawomuno, me kwa me foot train because me foot car na trotro no traffic room na afin so no boy den train so esan kwa fast ne boy no so wo fom nti me kwa me foot train minim yati nyama bi asese wo ho nti enye adwuma biom nti aka na me fo ese kai me kofu yi me di be 3 hours 4 hours wo kwan so na me nu fie nti me bre pa nti me be se train enye adwuma sra aban na kufu ado se o ti ya nto abama no kantamantofo ya to abama no e ma wanwini a omra no maye tie ne ye mayen ne yemfo train no de se train ya ye wa nyina train na yefo en na e ma ye kontem nti o maye mayen onye kwan na mayen no onye train mayen ye pa ne chopa.
Yababy is not in this alone. Stephen also added that with the rehabilitation of the Accra Sawam Railway, it will help reduce the heavy traffic situation on the Accra and Sawam Road.
Say kase train car de anke be kase train is far better. Say ya ye train kwan ni ye ene ya ye station ni bibie ye dia. Anke be kase train ye far better. Because train no eco fast. And no traffic be ni ho eche na uhwe na mre say ye fancy bia. Me per se meti Medina, from Medina to here and I say sisi ya mapo amekoi. So uhwe traffic am FM ne be take me more than 2-3 hours and sana metumi adufie. It is a tray wo ho a ye fa se offer tray fie na usi watete kwashi krampo na. But within 20 minutes no na wetumi across the traffic ni nyina. It is a here trade there is far better. Se obefo chance obefo car. Ye fa car na ye deko. Enti ye be kat se ni pape mu pa de government bi obebe bi anase aban na oteso no. On make sure say obeye tray kwan ni ye. Nothing to say be ya ban na nkasa ntu nani no mehwe ade bi because we ye new tray kwan omoaye but se oba ha na obehwe senia ha city a is very bad because ukacho obi say tray kwan omoaye fufuro ni a is west because first na ha kra ntisa say nso to kran to me fa ha nyina yiri Nti I think say adwuma no contractor no ye adwuma no. Adwuma no ye ndie not.
Rosemary had an opinion too to share.
Train enya adwuma de mboa Ghana for kra because train enke ye adwuma enke betimi de bia siesia asem amoba e mo hunse na ha ekọ train susu eboa e ma yetimi siesia oman mu ukọ abrochie kra asa na omo ye no train fair na no ana omo de siesia oman ni mu train enya adwuma de happen ti yesre omo mboa ye na train timi nkọ from Ghana Accra to North eho nyina ekọ a yebenya sika because anya kakra ebegigi no yebetimi de aye bibia aboa train way for no so ati ase chaban no ende train de ye hu hia Ghana for pan yesre na yebuo ni anidiem omeye mai kama na afa de bibia ntodin because train way wa de se oba ha odi wani abehu bi enko yie ma Ghana for na train so ye adwuma keteke no enum kakra wa ne de be den ye de be bibi say school for free education ni nyina ebetimi de bi atuatua say hwe nkɔhwe ma ye be dan atua.
Visit to the Jamestown landing beach, like many other landing beaches, will always be met with the question of what flags on fishing boats are meant for. While you might be thinking it is a mere add-on, the fishermen have a different story. There is more in the next story.
Seeing different kinds of flags or emblems on the boats of fishermen appears to be a mere act of work on the boats. Some of these flags are of different countries, party flags, while others prefer colors of the owner of the boat. Jamestown fishermen speaking to Adoa News on these flags on their boats explained that although some of the flags are just for fashion, there is more to it than just decorations. They said some of them go to places for protection, and upon going, they are given some kinds of handkerchiefs and cloths to come and put them on their boats for bumper harvest and protection. The reason why they have different kinds of flags on their boats is because the kind of flag you are given is the exact flag you are to put on the boat, while some of them mount the preferred colors of the god or the person they consulted. They added that it is also for identification for the fishermen. If a boat is afar, immediately you see the type of flag on the boat, you will know the person coming, and at times the direction of the flag indicates the direction the fisherman is headed. They further expressed that if a boat misses its direction and the person calls for help, it is the flag that will help rescuers to locate the person, because in case the boat sinks, it is the flag that will float for easy rescue operation.
Let's move to Parliament now. And first, Deputy Speaker of Parliament Joseph Osei Owusu yesterday threw out a motion moved by Minority Leader Haruna Idris, which sought to set aside the approval of the 2022 budget on November 30th, 2021, when the minority deserted proceedings of the House. Now, the minority leader says the events leading to the approval of the budget and the approval in itself is a betrayal of the standing orders of Parliament and the 1992 Constitution. However, the first Deputy Speaker says these were all arguments he had heard prior to the motion and that his decision to join the majority in voting for the motion to approve the budget was not wrong, adding that the first and second Deputy Speakers are members of Parliament and as such have every right to vote, hence throwing out the motion of the minority leader.
At the time appointed for the purpose and Order 53 Order of Business, any member may, with the pre-approval of Mr. Speaker, move a motion on a specific matter of urgent public importance. Mr. Speaker, yesterday, as is reported by the rules and proceedings, which has just been adopted by you, I'm begging to move, with your indulgence, that the decision which was taken yesterday in adopting purportedly a budget statement subject to concessions in that statement was unconstitutional, in betrayal of our rules and standing orders, and in betrayal of the 1992 Constitution, Mr. Speaker, particularly so that you, in the chair, added yourself to the number of members who made a quorum. May I, with respect, Mr. Speaker, refer you to Order 48 of our standing orders. From the comfort of my offices, invoke the same standing orders. You are what? You invoke the same standing orders. I'm doing the same. Mr. Speaker, take your notes, Max. You cannot be here. Mr. Speaker, let me refer you to Order 48.1, which reads, the presence of at least 1/3 of all the members of Parliament besides the person presiding shall be necessary to constitute a quorum for the House. So, Mr. Speaker, even adding yourself to the quorum yesterday itself is in betrayal of our standing order 48.1. I believe that there was any written statement seeking to use Order 51 by the majority leader. Mr. Speaker, let me also, with respect, refer you to our standing order 109. Mr. Speaker, standing order 109 reads, and I'm interested, Mr. Speaker, in 109.2, you were presiding, and therefore, by the provisions of Standing Order 30, you assume the role and responsibility of the Speaker of Parliament of Ghana. And it reads, Mr. Speaker shall have neither an original nor a custom vote, and if upon any question before the House, the votes are equally divided, the motion shall be lost.
Heard anything here today which was not discussed yesterday? All the arguments that have been made were practically the arguments and the issues raised and discussed and contained in my ruling yesterday. There are a few matters, though, which I wish to clarify. First, it must be clear that a deputy speaker is not a speaker.
Minority in Parliament have served notice that in the coming days, many motions, businesses and decisions of the August House will be taken by votes and consensus. Speaking to the media after the chaos in Parliament on Wednesday, December 1st, Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu noted that the days of mobocracy is over. The Tamale South lawmaker observed that the majority caucus was taken by surprise by the happenings and should expect many more surprises in the coming days.
You don't rule on emotion. The motion was accommodated. The motion was seconded. It was debated. All he needed to do was for the House to decide. But they knew that on their side, their numbers were not enough. It's to remind President Akutuku and the majority leader that majority in Parliament is majority present and voting. Not majority outside the precincts, the chamber, in the skies. No. members are present and voting. That is what the Constitution contemplated, even in Article 104. You know, and we took them by surprise. And we'll be taking them by surprise in the coming days. In the coming days, many other motions will come by vote. Many other decisions will come by vote. I have cautioned that we mean well, because the economy of this country certainly should not collapse on any of us, not even on President Nana Akufo-Addo. That cannot be my wish. But he must govern with respect to the law and the Constitution. The First Deputy Speaker must respect our standing orders and respect the provisions of the Constitution. When I said except otherwise as provided in the Constitution, if you come and read 104, and it provides except otherwise as provided in the Constitution, it simply says respect what is in 102. Otherwise, it has already been provided for on that matter. Therefore, respect it. So, our democracy should not suffer. We will demonstrate that from today, as I said, the business of Parliament, I will subject it to a new standard. And the new standard will be that on critical matters, vote. If they are more than us, they are more than us. If we are more than them, we are more than them. So they should know that the days of mobocracy is over, mob rule. The days when they disrespected us as an insignificant minority is over. And that the Parliament of Ghana must be respected. I'm particularly appalled that the Deputy Speaker, who ought to be holding the back of the Speaker, will abandon him midstream. You know, let me share this joke with you. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia been told tomorrow to act as president, then he does a reshuffle. That's what they are doing. When do people question it? When do you question it?
In Parliament, Member of Parliament for Boku Central, Mahama Ayariga, in a press briefing, has indicated that the motion moved by Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu that the House rescinded the decision it took on the 2022 budget on Tuesday has not been ruled upon. The honourable member cited from the votes and proceedings of Wednesday 1st October 2021 that a question was posed, debate arose and concluded. However, the Speaker only sought to give a ruling and did not rule.
A motion had been moved by the Honourable Minority Leader, Honourable Haruna Idrisu, and seconded by my good self. Whether or not such a motion was moved, if you recall, and members of the majority group side, in their various media engagements, sought to create an impression that the Speaker had not accepted that a motion had been moved. We were quietly waiting for the votes and proceedings of yesterday to be reported today, so that we'll see what it says about events in the House yesterday. And fortunately, we have the votes and proceedings for yesterday, which is before us. And if you go to page 9 of the votes and proceedings, it records that when it came to the business of motions, that there was a motion, and the motion reads that this Honorable House rescinds the decision it took on the budget statement and economic policy of the government for the year ending 31st December 2022 on Tuesday, 30th November 2021. Then the votes and proceedings reports that motion moved by the Honorable Minority Leader, Mr. Haruna Idrisu, and seconded by the Honorable Member for Boku Central, Mr. Mahama Ayariga. Question proposed, debate arising, debate concluded. So it is clear from the votes and proceedings of yesterday that the motion was moved, that it was seconded, that the question was proposed by the Speaker, that there was a debate, and that the debate was concluded. Then it now reports that the Honorable First Deputy Speaker sought to give a ruling which was interrupted following an uproar in the chamber. So it then reports that he sought to give a ruling. So that means that he didn't give a ruling. He sought to give a ruling. And then there was an uproar, and that interrupted the process. And then he suspended sitting at 2:25 p.m. Sitting resumed at 4:45 p.m. And then the second Deputy Speaker took the chair, and then he adjourned sittings for the day. So we just want you to pay attention to the votes and proceedings reporting the events of yesterday and then what it says. So the implication of this is that the motion moved by Honorable Haruna Idrisu and seconded by my good self is still pending, and what is left is a vote to be put to the House. I mean, the question to be put to the House for a vote to be taken, and then we will vote on the matter. If the Speaker decides that he wants to rule on it, as you can see, he hasn't ruled on it yet. He sought to, but you know, it was arrested, and then he left. There was a suspension of sitting. So basically, that is what it is. We just want to draw your attention to this fact, because we know that this weekend on Saturday, I mean, on all the media outlets, there will be discussions, and then the question will be whether or not a motion was moved, and whether or not a ruling was given by Mr. Speaker, and whether or not it should be a ruling or the issue should be a vote that should end the process. So we just want to clarify this before you disperse. Thank you.
Meanwhile, the House has been adjourned to Tuesday, December 7th, 2021.
Just to put the question, as many as are in favor of the motion to adjourn the House till Tuesday, 10 a.m., say aye. Those against the motion say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The House is hereby adjourned to Tuesday.
There have been many reactions over the chaos and drama unfolding in Parliament following the approval of the 2022 policy document, with many expressing their disappointment over the actions of their respective members of Parliament. The news team took to the street to find out whether or not Ghanaians will vote for their incumbent members of Parliament to represent them in the 2024 general elections.
Because Yanuma, Yatwaba Momnina, Shares on Bedans Papabia, a year fire to be seen. Now, Kobasa say, Omono, a Momu agreement and Yamabia, and Yefe. Mrs. say, Omun Koma be Momono, Omonia de Ababuagana, no Monia, a Bebuam party, and also Mancasan.
A banner or Moamas Nudia, Yanshada me and Imbia to that extent. Until said, compared to me, my idea, dear, say, me MP per se, na course, dear, and dear me, dear, mene ha mesa to ama
if you say uyele wo fie uba wo fie or hwe na wo na wo be ma say obesua ade afri saa niama na wo ku a dimpa enchrobo ama ye Ghana eman
okay me de me ma fa me ho adwen ntimi nko gina wi anom nto mu bi hu efisa na kura wo padwuma ma wo ba hwe sika wutua na mo mpanifo a nkwala ne behwa mo asua mo no mo yesa ne me wo parliament a ede ne nkwala ne isua ntimi me ho adwen kura dom de bia me kasa awurade mo Solomon nyansa ne bi na sa omo mpere omo pe omo nko omo de omo nko ayeye eno anse ye ne yabusua enti ade omo ye ndi aniwu pa me sori de so makoto lai na sa be se abato ne de menyi ni se metu biem.
Breaking news we've got is that the Nima Divisional Police Command has arrested the host of Adoatv and FM morning show host in Accra, Blessed God's Brain Smart, popularly known as Captain Smart. A statement from the Ghana Police Service said Captain Smart was arrested for making some unsavory pronouncements that hinge on peace and security. A statement separate from the National Media Commission said Captain Smart called for insurrection against the state of Ghana and its institutions in a recent broadcast on Accra-based Onua FM. Captain Smart has been cautioned on the offense of offensive conduct conducive to breaches of the peace as provided under Section 2017 of the Criminal Act 1960, Act 29, according to a statement from the Ghana Police Service. The police said he is in their custody assisting with the investigations. Captain Smart was recently employed by Adoatv and FM after resigning from Angel TV while on suspension regarding how he carried out his work there. We will follow and bring you subsequent developments. Watching the evening news on Adoatv. We'll be right back with more news.
Blue City is a manufacturing supply of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240-926-564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
CB makeup now. Amaka correct. Why your best mankasa? That's it. Who anymore? Oh, middle. You captures back on CB makeup sauce. Me see CB men capsules na make a year.
Yeah, you see men and women's capsules na ye nim ne dada. And one year packaging na ye the
Wow! What a packaging! CB men, any CB women capsules no packaging is and you also no mood any biansa na wakodo mpegi.
Share painful any about town man kwada no for. Any kwada won di fie du and come home.
Susanna, Ghana man man tamasi.
Adoatv 0247 111671 and 0246 578 750. FDA aje edwedin kato yato.
Back and moving on to business, former Finance Minister Seth Terkper is asking for an in-depth details into how the government plans to achieve some of its targets in the 2022 budget. One of such is the government revenue target, which Mr. Terkper believes is extravagant. Speaking at a virtual 2022 budget review organized by PFM Tax Africa Network, he demanded specific details as to how the government and the Ghana Revenue Authority plans to reach these targets.
The government of Ghana is aiming at increasing the tax to GDP ratio from 16% to 20% in 2020. This was revealed by Finance Minister Akiano Furiata while reading the 2022 budget statement in Parliament. Although the government has missed its revenue target over the years, it is still hopeful that it can generate 100.5 billion Ghana cedis in revenue next year, up from the projected outturn 70.3 billion Ghana cedis in 2021. But the former finance minister said Terkper believes these targets are not feasible. Speaking at a virtual 2022 budget review organized by PFM Tax Africa Network, he demanded specific details as to how the government and the Ghana Revenue Authority plan to reach these targets. The former finance minister said Terkper is asking for an in-depth details into how the government plans to achieve some of its targets in the 2022 budget. One of such is government's revenue target, which he believes is over-ambitious.
On to some sports news. South Africa Football Association's president, Dr. Danny Jordan, has taken a dig at the Ghana Football Association while reacting for the first time to the GFA's response to their protest lodged with FIFA. The protest in question involves South Africa versus Ghana final World Cup group qualifier played at the Cape Coast Stadium. Ghana won the game by 1-0, but the South Africans insisted that the award of the winning penalty was one of several dubious decisions the referee of the day awarded against them and in Ghana's favor.
You cannot be schooled by a primary school teacher if you're a university professor.
Wow.
We have delivered the World Cup. It was voted the best ever World Cup on the African continent. We cannot be schooled by people who are just in the first year in administration. And so we kept quiet. But also, it's our democratic right to exercise the provisions and the statutes and exercise our rights. As we said, it was Senegal's democratic right to look at the statute and exercise the options. And no federation must cast aspersion if a particular federation exercises its rights. What they have to do is just submit proposals to amend the statutes, to say no. Nobody must question any decision of any match. Let us just leave it and amend the statutes. But while those provisions are there, we are within our right to exercise it, and we're exercising it on behalf of our federation, on behalf of the people of the country, and we will not apologize to anybody for exercising our democratic rights.
But FIFA cannot strike it down on any procedural matters because they've accepted it and they have sent down to a hearing.
Look, an investigation is an investigation. And they have to follow the leads. And when you ask for investigation, you say, can you investigate this particular aspect? You cannot then say no, but you must submit. You open a case in the police, they must investigate. They cannot tell you, look, go and bring all the evidence, you make the investigation, and then you bring everything, we must just go to court. FIFA has the best capacity for investigation, as was proved in the decision in the...
Away from football, boxing provides children with essential skills that benefit many aspects of their social development inside and outside of the ring. Kids boxing teaches basic boxing skills and techniques such as stance, guard, movement, and so on. Our limelight is on some children at the Akutuku Boxing Academy who have taken up the sport at young age as their career. Coach Elvis Robertson took us through their training programs and how they are shaping them for the future.
Youth boxing is boxing training for kids, generally ages between 7 to 17, and it's been designed to be an introduction to boxing as well as guide for advancing boxing skills. Youth boxing teaches kids about fundamentals of boxing training such as correct fighting stances and basic punches. Keeping kids physically active is more difficult and more important than ever, and boxing is one of the most engaging, enjoyable activities that will ignite your kids' love for exercise. It also teaches kids about discipline, persistence, and hard work. Our spotlight fell on the work of kids in Akutuku Boxing Academy, a work that Coach Elvis Robertson has been upon himself to teach the kids the technique in boxing. Coach Elvis Robertson spoke about the programs he has designed for the young boxers and how he keeps them motivated in order not for them to derail away from boxing.
Kids in Odododo or in Bukom, Jamestown, are being motivated by the people around, and you know, in the community that we live, they don't really like schooling, although education is very important, but they see boxing as a profession and a future career for them. So they sometimes look up to the people who have made it before in the community. So that is where the motivation comes from for them to start boxing in Bukom. Because they are kids, you can't be matching them up to the older ones. We give them normal training that will keep them, that will make them, a little bit of fitness. So that is the kind of training we give them. We don't give them like intense training, just a normal one, just to keep them.
He further elaborated on the kind of gloves, the punching bag, and the type of equipment the kids use.
It's the same, but just that the sizes changes. Like for instance, older boxer can use a 10 ounces gloves, but for them we have 6, 8 for them. And for their punchy bag, they're not supposed to be using the heavy bag because of their age. So we normally give them smaller like sizes for them to use as their training kits. The community that we live in, we see ourselves as boxing is our business, it's our everything here. We eat boxing, we drink boxing, we sleep boxing, we use boxing to do everything. Despite education is very important, but we see boxing as our everything here. So the parents here, about 90% support their kids to be part of boxing. And also sometimes we honor their talent by going out to places around Jamestown to do a small boxing show with some of the experienced ones here, just to motivate people. So sometimes the kids also follow. Oh, coach, I want to train with you. Coach, I want to be like this one. So that is how we get them into boxing sometimes. We do that through our theory, like sometimes we have a special day that we take them through boxing lessons or social life, everything concerning boxing or outside the ring, the way they can behave when they are home, the way they can talk to people when they are not only boxing. So they get a lot of motivation for us. Even sometimes we try to motivate them with like snacks for them to be happy, to always come to the gym.
Before we go, tomorrow, as we all know, is a holiday. It is Farmers' Day. And from all of us here at Adoatv, would like to say thank you to all the farmers. We are so grateful that you provide food for us. Without you, we cannot be. We are so grateful and we say thank you. Tomorrow's award will take place at Cape Coast. We wish whoever wins all the best. And the rest of the farmers, we are saying this shouldn't bring your spirits down. Continue planting so that we can get more food at a little bit cheap price so that we can all buy it and get satisfied. Now, to those of us who are not into farming, it is never too late. Let's try and do something. Little space that we get, we grow something. Now, from us here at Adoatv, we are throwing a challenge to you. Plant something. When it grows, show it to us at Facebook. Follow us, Adoatv Ghana, and let us see what you have. We will also play a part. We'll also show ours for you to see. Tomorrow, we wish you a very enjoyable day, and we hope that as you celebrate tomorrow, you'll also put the farmers into prayers and pray for them that everything goes on well for them. And that is how we wrap up tonight on the evening news at 6 on Adoatv. Before we go, a recap of our top stories. The minority in Parliament have served notice that in coming days, businesses and decisions in the House will be taken by consensus and that the days of bureaucracy is over. Still in Parliament, Member of Parliament for Boku Central, Honorable Mahama Ayariga, have said that the first Deputy Speaker did not give a ruling on the minorities' motion. And Minister for Railway Development, John Peter Amewu, has stated clearly that government has signed no contract with regards to the construction of Sky Trains in Ghana. For more news, log on to our website, www.adanewsonline.com. Thanks for staying with us. Remember, the evening news is brought to you by Asatec Roofing Sheet and Cookware, Blue City Ties and Accessories, and Verna Mineral Water. I am Benedicta Dodu. Thanks for staying with us. Enjoy the rest of our programs.